Let's get to headlines here, you rascals, which are brought to you by Doral Hyundai. At Doral Hyundai, choose from over 1,300 new Hyundai miles in inventory. That's the Tucson.
Okay, hold on.
Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai.
None of your buzz. Out of the chat.
What?
Out of the
Whoa!
chat. I don't know if you're familiar with the show. We do not use colors like salmon.
None of
Okay?
your buzz. Salmon.
What color is it? It's salmon. Out of the chat.
Although I have found myself saying, yeah, it looks like a macaroni and cheese. You guys remember that color? It was good. Like a yellow orange.
Is that like when the Dolphins brought back the orange uniforms that were Tang?
Ooh, Tang. You see? Yeah, like that's a perfect description for that color. But I don't use things like periwinkle or violet. I have no respect for violet.
Yesterday, what you had, I mean, like, I don't know what the hell that orange sweatshirt was.
That was Stranger Thing orange.
So yesterday, Chris Greer, Mike McDaniel, they had a long press conference.
Why do we do this to ourselves?
During our show, we read some of the quotes as they went by. I listened to the press conference on the way home yesterday, Leroy, because I hate myself. I do. I don't know what else.
That has to be the only reason.
It's the only reason I could be listening to it. I'm like, oh, great. Let me listen to Mike McDaniel explain why he should call plays for 9 minutes.
The play calling isn't the problem, because sometimes you have to call plays based on what your offense has the ability to succeed at.
Right? The thing that I got from him yesterday, and the thing that kind of bothered me over the last couple of days, and I know you mentioned that like this should be a player thing, right? Mm-hmm. Is the whole idea that it kind of feels like his players are walking all over him with like people being fined multiple times. It sounds
they're only talking about one person.
I would think that they're talking about one person, but that person's one of the faces of the team.
Okay,
and how does he not corral that?
Here's dude, there's certain people, if you let it go once, it happens forever. Like, you can have a conversation with them and they're like, what are you going to do? I make 30 million, you make 5. Right? And that attitude is what kills everything. And I would say this. I would say that decisions are going to have to be made if that indeed is an issue. Because you got 60 guys in that locker room, 70 guys in the locker room, and a lot of them are young. And if you don't have the right leadership from your veterans, then that cycle will continue. It's just like heat culture. You've always had somebody in the system to kind of let everybody know how it's done here. If you don't set that tone and have people that can relay that message to the rest of the team, then that is the bigger issue. So does it mean that sometimes you get rid of star players because you're more worried about the effect it could have on a majority of your team? Sure. Before we go that route, though, I think everybody needs to calm the hell down. From Tyreek to everybody reacting to Tyreek to whatever. People say things in the heat of the moment, and the only difference between athletes and you is that your heat of the moment things aren't recorded. And you think,
unless somebody's filming it like at a Publix,
right, you think you should know better, right? Oh, he's an athlete, he should know better. But that don't stop you from being you. That don't stop you from being human. So let's give it a break.
Wouldn't it be great if we did have footage of Leroy calling the guy Danny DeVito for the risotto balls dispute?
If we just have his highlights, the next clip is him laughing.
I ain't got no shame in my game. I'll film it for you.
Wait up in all
5. I'll film it for you. Like, ain't no like, yeah.
Have POV Ray-Ban.
Have you been able to make amends with Danny DeVito, or you're just still, or
no? Has he been last time I saw him, I said, "What's up, Garden Gnome?"
Leroy, now you're going back for seconds.
Yeah.
He just healed up from the last fight. And
No, he didn't heal up. He didn't apologize or nothing.
Oh, jeez.
I
Here
wanted
was,
to go get him one of them giant lollipops and give it to him. Beep, welcome to the lollipop. And just start dancing like oh boy, was it get your cold cuts, get your cold cuts. I wanted to stand in front of the meat counter doing that. Beep, welcome you to lollipop land with one of them big giant lollipops.
You're really hosing down people at Publix.
No, I'm not, just him. I'm friendly with everybody. You go to Publix and say, oh, look, he's a very friendly guy. He says hi to everybody. What's up? How's your day? Right. But that guy, like, yeah, you were wrong. Apologize. He just shooed me away instead of apologizing. Customer service my ass. So, yeah. So every time I see him, I give him the business. And he deserves it.
Here was somebody who deserves some criticism. That's Chris Grier. He was mad at Tua because Tua's putting himself at risk and putting himself in danger, and was pretty strong at his quarterback for doing so.
It was good to see his growth as a player when he was playing. I would say that the one thing that has come out of this, even this year, was the leadership part. Is all the players were talking about is it leadership and the step he's taken. And I had a couple of our free agents that come in and said he was one of the best leaders they've ever been around for a quarterback. And to see where he's come from his early time here was impressive. That being said, he needs to be available. Like, he needs to know how to protect himself. Like, you're going to get hit at times. It's always going to happen. But he needs to control what he can control. He understands that. Not being available for taking chances and risks is unacceptable to us, and he knows that.
All right, there you go, Chris Greer. It's just a weird way to put it, is it not?
I would say this. You know what also protects your quarterback?
Do tell.
Offensive line.
Yeah, forget about the bums that I put in front of you. Stop running into DeMar Hamlin, Tua.
I mean, I mean, think about this. He gets rid of the ball quicker than anybody in the NFL. And it still at times wasn't quick enough.
I don't want to say
And you don't think that the protection in front of him has a lot to do with why he has to take off and run?
Well, here's the other thing that's annoying about it, right? It's like, okay, he had this year where he took jujitsu and he protected himself and he beefed up a little bit. He didn't but like everybody, from what I heard publicly, right? I'm just going by what everybody said publicly. Everybody was thrilled that Tua lost weight and was making himself more dynamic. And I didn't hear anybody in the organization bitching about that publicly. And now all of a sudden you're mad because that blew up in his face.
Here's the most ridiculous thing about that. For a guy that spent most of his life around football, a contact sport, telling a guy he has to be more careful with how he gets hit is laughable. It's just that in itself, in a sport where people get wheeled off once a week in a game, now you're saying that guy should have been more careful.
He's had a thing too where he was like asked yesterday about like durability and would he be more cautious of signing guys with he goes, well, I mean, football is 100% injury rate.
Like, right. Exactly.
But Tua is unacceptable. Like this dude, I'm just telling you right now with Chris Grier, dude,
he's not helping this case.
He throws everybody under the like. I don't mean to be rude about this, but typically people who can survive regimes for that long, they're great at saving their job and throwing other people under the bus. And that's what it felt like.
I wonder what they told Stephen Ross. Because if that's what he said to me, he said, hell, if Tua would have kept himself healthy, we would have been in it.
He said it again. He doubled down on it too. He kept going with this whole theme. Why are you not succeeding? It's Tua. He's reckless.
His availability of controlling what he can control, like throw the ball away. You don't have to run around, be Superman, live for the next play. And the sooner he understands that, which he's told Mike and I, he understands that clearly, because this was hard for him. missing these last 2 games after he played all last season. It was hard for him. And what you love about him is his competitiveness and his fight. I mean, you guys have seen a little bit of how he is now when he's pissed. And that's what you love about him, because he shows that to us all the time. And it's not taking the competitive spirit out of him. It's just having him play smart and realize how important he is to this franchise.
Maybe he wouldn't have to feel like Superman.
Let me explain to you what he just said. Here's what a competitor does. It's 3rd and 3. You want the drive to continue. You see the first down marker. You go get it. You ain't thinking about injury. You ain't thinking about nothing. You're a competitor. You think about getting the first down. Simple as that. Okay? For him to say, I want him to still be a competitor, let me explain to you how sports works. The first time it's 3rd and 3, and he has an opening to run the football for the 3 yards, and he throws it away. I want you guys to remember the reaction. Like, I love the way people after the fact say, no, don't go get the first. Don't be a competitor, while with the other side of your mouth saying he's an extreme competitor. He wants to win.
I love the questions were good yesterday. From the media. The one thing that I did would have wanted to know from the media onto is like, are you guys going to continue to do this? Like, are you going to continue to treat his injuries for optics or because he's actually hurt?
Right.
Because like
he probably could have played 2 more games if they would have just. And here's what I hated about that situation. And I told you, okay, here are the facts of sports. You get hurt. You have a medical staff, right? When you're healthy, you play. Simple as that. If you're not healthy enough to play, you don't play. To put him on IR, it almost seemed like they did it to look good and not to live by those rules. Right. You got to do it. You got to be consistent with it. Otherwise, you're determining what his injury is. You're determining. So who's to say if now Tua said, I can't go because of my hip, and the team thinks he could go. Right. Now what? So you can't do that. You leave it up to the medical staff. The team get out of it. The player get out of it. And when you're healthy, you're healthy. And I said that back then, and I'm going to say it right now. Nobody in that building, in that front office, is a damn doctor.
Chris Grier yesterday, addressing the media. I just, you know what really my overall thought of it was, though?
CYA?
Yeah, big time CYA. I thought even at times he was throwing McDaniel under the bus. I was just like, sheesh, this guy. He is he's like Sergei Bobrovsky deflecting blame. It's incredible. You can't score on this guy. But I just came out of it with just, I don't know that they won't get it fixed. Maybe they will. But I can't say that yesterday anything was said that gives me a lot of faith that they're going to get it fixed. That was my overall. It's just like, I didn't come out of that feeling great about where things are at. I felt like there was, like you said, there's a lot more CYA here than how they're going to get this thing actually righted and get the ship fixed.
Here's what I would say. I would say the simple fact that he acknowledged what the issue was, meaning they have a chance of fixing it. That being said, a lot of the stuff that has to be done has a lot to do with Mike McDaniel's basic fundamental ideal behind football. And I'm going to say he probably came into it thinking he could do it his way and had some success. And I'm hoping, I can't even say for sure, but I'm hoping that between the two of them, they look around the league and see there's a certain way you have to play certain times during the game. And if you can't do that, you can't win. And that's where I hope they can get. look, they're both smart guys. I don't necessarily listen to a whole lot they say because what can you say? Right? Everybody who's watched the damn games can see what you can't do. It's your job to figure out why and fix it.
Yeah, but the thing is like they see from my standpoint, I think that I would have liked if your owner came out minutes after the season was over, right? And gave you the backing that Stephen Ross did.
Mm-hmm.
From my standpoint,
you would go in there with a different kind of
a little bit more accountability. It almost felt like they were
right.
talking to Stephen Ross through the media of like trying to save their asses. And I'm like, didn't you guys like, like he's up there yesterday talking about the cold weather games to Chris Greer. And he's like, well, we can play in cold weather. We just shoot ourselves in the foot. I'm like, yeah, always in cold weather. Like that's part of it.
Yeah.
And like you guys can't play clean in cold weather.
Right.
And it's like, no. You guys are making too much of it. I am? How many times are we gonna watch it? And you come here and you're like, we played that Buffalo game close. I'm like, that is great, dude. Hey, congratulations in a sport where majority of games are 1-score games. You played them close. You're throwing a lot of close. You want to know when you didn't play them close? Week 2 when it looked like you didn't belong on the same field with them.
Right.
And right now it doesn't look like you belong in the same division with them. And I'm sitting here being like consolation prize. We played them close. Cool. Good for you, Chris.
I just think what do you expect? I don't pay attention to anything that they say. I don't.
I understand. Words are empty to you. You're
right.
in actions.
Right. Because there's certain things that you're gonna say that really don't have anything to do with what you need to do.
Well, this is the thing, right? Though he doesn't talk a lot. He talks 3-4 times a year, after the season, before the season, after the draft, combine. Is that like those are the times?
And guess what? And I can do every press conference after all those events right now.
Could you? Because the last time he stepped in front of a mic, he was like, offensive line, you guys have concerns.
Hey,
and then yesterday,
you
gotta go?
Yeah.
All right, no problem, buddy.
Right. I'll fight you when I get back.
Okay. But like Marcos, he's there yesterday, and he's like, well, I just said that to back my guys.
No, dude.
I'm like,
the first one was like, oh, I was waiting for you guys to mention that.
Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
That's the path you chose to go.
Yeah.
Well, I just said that because I wanted to support. They work so hard. They work. I'm like, hey, okay, cool, dude. What are they, children?
Yeah.
But Eichenberg, he works so. By the way, he was the only guy I didn't get mentioned yesterday. They've been stuffing this Eichenberg down our throat now for 5 or 4 years, moving him to every position, telling us what a great guy this Eichenberg. He's gonna work out. Didn't even mention him, dude.
No. Good.
Writing's on the wall, Liam. I'm sure. Hey, Liam, don't worry though, dude. I know you're gonna be a Pro Bowler wherever you go. I already know. I'm fully aware. I'm waiting for the egg to be on my face with that one.
There's no denying though. It was horrible here.
Horrible.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a horrible move by Chris Grier yesterday. Just completely, and in a sense, I know he says things like we're going to invest now, but he's still downplaying it, dude.
Do you have that investing? We're going to invest in the offensive line now. Like, do you have that? Because that was
it's depressing.
I'm like, oh, thanks.
Yes, going forward, Teron and I had a conversation briefly yesterday. We're going to talk again here in sometime in the next few days or coming weeks. But also knowing that, this will be, we're going to have to invest in the offensive line now. Like Kendall did a fantastic job here for a few years, and we're just older there now and win. So, yes, this is the time again, like we did back a few years ago with Austin and Rob Hunt and Solomon Kinley and stuff. This is a time for us to, again, start investing in some offensive linemen.
Ah, yes, who could forget the great era that was Solomon Kinley?
Good times.
Crazy,
Up
man.
there with Columbo.
Like, yeah, we're older than now. Oh, why? Because you mean Teron Armstead's knee has a wind-up toy on it?
Yeah.
He's 100 years old and he's tired.
Yeah.
Stop guilting him into continuing to play football. Let that man go make his music and rest. He's tired.
Do we get any money if he retires?
I don't know. You know what? Who
Yeah.
cares?
He just really just does
the
it.
idea that they had to give him all the money he wants is a parting gift.
Yeah.
But he's tired. Let him go. It's enough. Stop using him like he's a damn safety net all the time.
He's so good though.
He is really good, but he also can only play 8 games functional, Marcos.
Yeah. Okay, so what about like one of those Kawhi Leonard programs where we just bring him in week 8 next year?
Like a half season?
Yeah.
Who knows if Tua could make a half season?
Oh, that is the
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But like he sits here, he goes, Tua, unacceptable, you get hurt. It's like, look, I wanted to pay Tua, so I'm not gonna kill you for paying Tua.
Yeah.
But don't get mad at Tua for being Tua. Like that's great, Tua. It's unacceptable that you are yourself.
Yeah.
Like what? You gotta take the good with the bad. You knew what the risks were.
Exactly. You knew what you got, dude.
But the thing is with me with Chris Grier, it just feels like all the time he looks and he goes, looks at a sheet of paper and he goes, this guy's missed 20 games in his career.
I like him.
He's due to be healthy. Not gonna happen again. Sign him. And then when the guy gets hurt, he goes, how about that? 100% injury rate in football. But then Tua, who always gets hurt, he goes,
gotta do better.
Why are you getting yourself hurt all the time, Tua? Why can't your body hold up to play football? It's like, dude, it's been the same. And like when the guy, if anybody had any organizational control there, and you guys got a whiff, one of him working with John Beck should have been a red flag for the Dolphins immediately.
Yeah.
And second of all, the idea that he was losing weight so he could scramble.
Ooh.
Everybody should have sat his ass down and been like, we just gave you $160 million. Sit your ass down, fat ass.
Wow.
I don't want you to move. You go play your guitars. You're not getting mobile. Stupid.
I don't think that was a stupid part. You should slide more. You should slide more.
He can.
That's the problem, though.
He can.
It's not the mobility.
He did it one time to an ovation.
Yeah.
He did it one time to a standing ovation.
That was great. Highlight for sure.
Take a break. Back with more after this.